Hello guys, welcome to Real Street TV. Thank you for joining me tonight with my wonderful guests, CJ Lee and Liz Mytton. If we haven't made this clear already, we are all related, we are all siblings, and we're all amazing, wonderful people, and you should check us out on social media. But tonight we are talking about getting older, the joys of getting older, the challenges of getting older. Next year, I hit the big 40, which is really scary, but exciting at the same time. I never thought I'd reach this age, so we're just going to have a bit of a chat about getting older. So, Liz, tell us about your feelings about getting older.
Yeah, well, it's really funny because when I was about to hit the big 40, I felt quite panicked. And I don't know, there's a lot of pressure put on people to have achieved certain things by the time they're 40, to have a certain level of stability by the time they're 40. And I didn't feel as though I ticked all those boxes. So I felt a bit scared. I didn't feel any different on the inside. But I think what's hitting me now is the fact that in 2 years I'm hitting the big 50 and I've hardly recovered from turning 40. So it's amazing how time just feels like it's really flown. And it's weird how I'm putting the same pressure on myself again about achievement.
Do you know what? I started to reevaluate that whole what should you have accomplished by the time you're 25, by the time you're 30 and 40, a long time ago. So, you know, I didn't buy my first house until I was into my 30s. I didn't have my first child, the child I was never going to have. I didn't have that child until I was 44.
Yeah.
I was definitely not having a second child, and now I've got another one. So, you know, the one thing I do think about is how old will I be when my children are, you know, 16 and I'm dropping them off at discos, and am I going to be the elderly
You just said
parent?
disco.
Yes, all right. Sorry, I meant to say discotheque.
Discotheque.
Yeah, I don't have any real issues with you know, getting over 40 or nearly being 50. I know that it's so much harder to stay in shape these days. I still feel like I can eat what I ate when I was kind of in my 20s, and that clearly doesn't have the same impact on my body. So, yeah, other than health, general health, which I'm a bit more focused on right now, I feel pretty good about hitting 50 in 3 months' time.
Fantastic. The weird thing for me is looking back a little bit and thinking about not being in my 20s anymore. So going to a supermarket, for example, and not being ID'd for alcohol anymore. I remember a time when I just didn't want to be ID'd. I wanted to look old enough. And, you know, to get into a bar, that stuff seems like yesterday. In fact, this week, me and some friends, we went to a bar in Leeds, and everyone in there just looks like kids. I mean, it's an 18-plus bar, obviously, but, you know, I was just aware of, gosh, I just feel so much older. I don't massively want to be in places like this anymore. I think that's just a symptom of getting older.
I think aren't there bars designed for people of your age?
We mean like old working men's clubs?
When you... I think when you get past about 30, I think it's 32, 33, there's some unofficial law that says you should not go to normal bars anymore because there will be people looking at you and laughing at you.
True.
So at that stage, you either I think you do dinner parties or house parties, or you go to these over 30s, over 35 bars.
Oh, gosh.
They do exist. I've never been to one yet. But no, I definitely feel, you know, what you were saying, Marcus, about when you go into a bar these days and everyone looks like they're underage, but they're all like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would feel like that. But I guess that's one of the beauties of coming of age.
Yeah, I mean, something else that's a little bit embarrassing to admit, but, you know, being an 18-year-old guy out on the town and you see someone in a short skirt and you think, oh, she's pretty. I remember just hitting a time when I'd see someone in a short skirt and then I think, all right, you cold, love. You know, you need to wrap up.
That is tragic. That is tragic, but true.
Warm.
Yeah.
That is tragic, but true.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. I think it's funny for me as well, in a way, because it's sometimes like you were saying, Siege, about it being harder to stay fit and that, and it's almost like your mind and your body don't shift at exactly the same time. There's a bit of a lag, and I don't know. I feel like I've been feeling it recently. I feel like I'm like the big project for my 50s will be getting fit, and not necessarily out of some vanity thing, but more out of necessity.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. We're all living longer, and you know, it's how we want those later years to look.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I'm kind of coming to terms with. I'm not a natural exerciser. Don't particularly enjoy it, but it is something that I'm trying to plan. I'm planning for it because I want to have a healthy later life, healthier than I've got now.
So if you guys think back to when you were a little bit younger, you know, your 20s, well, you know, I think back to my 20s, and you think about what you know now and maybe what you wish you knew back then, if you could talk to your younger self and give your younger self some advice, what sort of advice would you give?
That's a great question. It's a difficult question on the one hand, because I like to think that I'm not someone who thinks about the regrets and the things I didn't do and the things I'd wish I'd done. If anything, I would tell, this is so kind of middle-aged, but I would tell myself to save money. That is and I would have bought a house earlier, because I didn't buy until I was in my 30s. I look at people trying to get on the property ladder these days, and I have no idea, you know, unless they're going to be gifted some money, I have no idea how first-time buyers do it. I know it's a real challenge, but yeah, I wish I had started I wish I'd got into the habit of saving money, and I wish I'd bought a house earlier. But other than that, I wouldn't change many other things.
Right, okay. Mine's not as deep as that as usual. But that is something that I wish I'd done. I wish I had saved money and seen the value of it. But I think I wish I'd had more fun. So if I was talking to my younger self, I would say explore more. I think I lived a smaller life than I needed to. I think I'm doing a lot of adventuring and a lot of breaking out now in my late 40s. But I wish I'd done more. I wish I'd travelled more and had more kind of youthful fun. But I think I was quite sensible when I was in my 20s, and I wish that I'd been a bit more carefree. Yeah. But you know, I'm a firm believer everything in its time, and I feel like now's my time to be doing that stuff. Not necessarily.
Liz, I think you've forgotten your 20s. You were the crazy party animal in our household. You were the one doing all the fun things. I was the sensible one. Have you confused yourself with me?
I can't remember being reckless.
Liz, you
really?
went to live abroad. That's pretty cool. That's like on most people's bucket lists. But you did that stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about this, Siege, and we'll talk about it on the video next
time. I
think
we should definitely talk about this off camera and not. I'm not going to divulge any of your kind of 20s secrets, but maybe we should have a drink and reminisce.
Yeah, I think we should.
I think those things will come out, Liz, when the book deal comes out, you know? So, they'll come out then. Just to wrap things up, I think the one thing that I would say is, it's a little bit similar to some of the things you said, Liz, but I wish I'd been a little bit more brave, and I wish I believed in myself a little bit more. And I wish I'd been more adventurous. Because, Liz, I do look at you as the adventurous one. I wish I'd taken bolder steps. I wish I'd believed in myself a bit more. I wish I'd been a bit more, not careless, but carefree. And I definitely wish I'd worried less. I wish I'd worried less about the future. Because, I think in your 20s, especially, that's the time when you're finding yourself, you're discovering yourself, you're dyeing your hair different colours, you're trying different ways of dressing, you just try to figure yourself out, and you're worrying. Well, for me anyway, I think I worried a lot about what other people thought of me, because I wanted to come across right, I wanted to meet people, I wanted to be the cool guy, and I just wish I'd worried less. So I think we're handing out advice. This is a video for people in the 20s, I suppose, as well. But I just think, you know, if I was to hand out advice now to my younger self or people of that era, just chill out. Just chill out, enjoy the ride, everything happens in its right time and it's all going to be fine and dandy.
But Marcus, I'd say as well to your 39 and a quarter self, you've still got 9 months to do some stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would say to that, you've still got the rest of your life to do all the stuff.
I was being funny. I was trying to be funny.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I forget you're the funny one.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. We'll wrap up there, but I'm sure you'll see that, Liz is the adventurous and the funny one and the greatest of us all.